All right. Hey, everybody. We're here from a greater town doing another business owner interview, and we're with Justin Vickers from Dawn Home Care. Hey, Justin, how are you?
I'm doing good today, Dave. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, good. So, Justin, like we said, via email or when we met, that we do these interviews to kind of, get people like you, business owners in the community, introduced to our audience and kind of give them like a firsthand view of you and the business and what it's all about. And yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to do today.
Okay.
And so let's just start off with like the super basics, right? What's your name? What business is it? And we'll just take it from there. How about that?
All right. My name is Justin Vickers. The name of my company is Dawn Home Care. We are a fully licensed and insured nurse registry here based in the Beaches area around Jacksonville.
Uh-huh.
We provide primarily non-medical in-home care for senior citizens who want to age in place in their homes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, that's commonly referred to as home care, right?
Correct. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. And I want to dig into that a little bit, but we'll do that in a minute. I have some questions about home care and differences between home care and home health and that sort of stuff, right? But before we do that, so you're in Jacksonville. Jacksonville is a pretty big place. So you said, actually, isn't Jacksonville the largest city in the U.S.?
It is largest landmass city in the U.S.
Right. By geography, not by population or anything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. So you're in, you said the beaches?
Correct. That's where we're based, but we service Jacksonville,
Right.
Duval County, St. Johns County, Nassau County,
Oh,
and a
okay.
couple of counties.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. And how long have you been open?
We've been in business 4 years now.
4 years. Oh, wow. Okay. And I think you told me that you had a previous home care agency as well, right?
We did. I had one up in North Carolina. We had it for a few years. It was great. It's where I discovered my passion for the industry. It was my first go at this space. And we did well with it, but we ended up having to move back down to Jacksonville, Florida to be around our own aging parents and their journey.
Uh,
So we ended up moving back
yeah.
to be closer to them. Yeah, so.
Okay. Okay. So okay, that's interesting. You had one before, and you said that's where you discovered your passion for this. So
Mhm.
I got to imagine that it is a extremely rewarding, but also really challenging at times, right?
Mhm. It
Would
can
you
be.
agree with that?
Yes, definitely. Managing people is not an easy task,
Yeah.
but it's worth it because at the end of the day, you're helping people. Um, you have to hire a lot of folks to take care of these
Right.
clients in their homes, and everybody, these are people who have lives and problems and ups and downs just like everybody else.
Right.
So, it's not always easy, but it is very rewarding at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have to imagine that, so I don't personally have parents that are ready for this sort of care, right? So I don't have the exposure really to what it's like. But I have to imagine that if you are allowing someone into your home, it can be sensitive, especially for an elderly person who's been there for their whole life, maybe. It's do you find that you get resistance from the people you're trying to take care of?
Oh yeah, resistance is very common. I would
Mhm.
say probably half of the clients you
Yeah.
bring on are very
Yeah.
resistant at
Yeah.
first. Um, it's a it's a difficult period of life to navigate
Right.
when you've been doing everything yourself for so long, and then along comes a time where possibly someone else says, "Hey, you need help," you
Right. I was
know.
going to ask you. So it's probably their kids that are initiating the help, and yeah, in some way, I'm not going to say forcing it, but introducing it into the parent's home. So yeah, it
Right.
could be a tough thing. Yeah. Um, okay. Well, in the cases where, you manage to break through and I'm sure there's plenty of cases where you break through and now the senior is actually happy that it is there for them, right? The support.
Yeah. Once you get a good caregiver to client match and they start spending time with each other, they become friends and even like
Right.
family.
Right.
These people are spending a lot of time with each other and they're helping them out with a lot of things. So, it can be quite a personal experience going through that process.
Right. Yeah. So we've had a neighbor who has had home care services for their mom, and they speak incredibly highly. Like the way they describe it is like you just said that they become their friends, their you
Hmm.
know companions. The woman's there not all the time, but often enough that it's a routine now. It is comfortable, and their mom and looks forward to it. It's a person to talk to. You know, it's welcomed, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It truly is because that person's there, doing everything, helping with meals,
right.
companionship.
Yep.
They'll, go, a lot of people, they'll go and have lunch together and go
Right.
out, go do things. It's really great when it does become a great friendship. It's very beneficial for both the caregiver and the client. It there's a lot of studies out there that just prove that it's very helpful overall with just their overall state of being, like no depression, less depression, they're happier, they're more thriving
Yeah.
and just being somewhere that they're not happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got to imagine that the there's got to be like a tremendous burden lifted from the kids, right? The
Hmm.
family overall to just know that there's somebody there, especially if they're remote, right? And in this example that I was giving our neighbor, they're pretty close by, so it's not maybe as you know, uh, I don't know, it's just a different situation. But if you're remote, then in particularly that case would be a giant burden lifted from you knowing that there's someone around to help, right?
Oh yeah, just having someone over there for, a couple hours a day,
Mhm.
um, really helps out because somebody's there, putting eyes on the client every day, and that caregiver or the client can talk to the family member that's concerned, and it really gives everyone peace of mind.
Yeah. So I'm just remembering now. So this neighbor that I'm referring to told us that their mom said to them the other day that, oh, kind of like almost like a giddy teenager, oh,
Mhm.
Kathy was over yesterday and we went to the park and she was so funny, this kind of stuff. So it reminds me of like, the sort of chatter that you have among like teenagers when they're on the phone together. And yeah, it was pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, definitely not rare for them to become like buddies.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's great.
Or girlfriends. They're out,
Yeah,
riding around, going and doing their hair, nails, going to the grocery store. It's a great outing, and it's a good way for them to bond and, enjoy their time
yeah,
with
yeah.
someone.
Okay. Um, so this is where I was gonna some questions about the way home care works that I was alluding to at the beginning of the call. Um, so there's home care and then there's home health care, right?
Hmm.
And why don't you tell me the difference? You'll know better than I will.
Well, the big difference between those two is home care is more of a personal care or companion care. Companion care is a more distant type of care
Mhm.
where the person's more helping out around the house. They can still lightly help with mobility and those sorts of things, but it's mainly housekeeping, companion sitter type stuff. They can
Mhm.
help with companionship, play games, get out and about, drive the client around, errands, appointments, grocery shopping, meal prep, cleaning, light housekeeping.
Right.
Personal care is more hands-on, where you still can do all of the companion care things, but you're also getting more hands-on things like help with eating, grooming,
Hmm.
bathing, continence issues, and more mobility things with transferring and those sorts of things. These clients can be at any stage, which is just past the companion care level, all the way up to being in a bed on hospice where the caregiver is taking care of all their needs in that situation. So everything in between is included in that personal care slash home care range. Home health care is more of your skilled services,
Hmm.
where you're going to have an RN come
Right.
in and provide medical services.
Right.
LPNs can also do that. But that's more of your skilled services like
Yeah.
wound care, and those sorts of things.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Okay. Okay. All right. And so is Dawn Home Care providing both?
we can provide all three.
Right. All three. Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
We mainly focus on the personal care and companion care, though.
Hmm.
But if needed, we can provide skilled care as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. All right. Now, so just to jump back, maybe we went out of order a little bit. You had told me that you were an EMT at one point, right?
Yes, I've been a certified paramedic for almost 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
So I saw a lot of people during that period when I was practicing that could use some help at home, and some help at home for them would have prevented a lot of bad outcomes that we were there dealing with.
Yeah. Right.
Um, you know, Mostly taking them to the ER, and they were getting treated for, all sorts of things, falls, mainly falls.
Falls.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I've heard. Well, so before we go there, so is that, would you say that's how you became interested in home care? Started as an EMT, saw that was going on, and then sort of, you know, drove the interest into home care as a business.
Yeah, that's kind of what got the wheels turning. I was a paramedic, and then I had a family, and the schedule of a paramedic is not always the best. So I started researching medical spaces that I could get into, and
Hmm.
landed in this one where we could provide that care that I saw was so greatly needed during
Hmm.
my days as a paramedic. So it kind of fit for me. So it was a good transition.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Oh, so falls. Before we got on the call, I was doing a little bit of research about how home care works and all that, and that certainly seems to be like a giant problem. Seniors are home alone. Their homes aren't always prepared maybe for them, right? And there's a lot of falls. To your point, that's how you were seeing them because of the falls they were having and getting, EMT calls, right?
Right.
Yeah. So how does a home care agency sort of help in that situation? Is there something they do to maybe even just educate the family about fall prevention, that sort of thing?
We can. We'll come through when we bring on a new client. We'll do a full walkthrough on the house. We'll
Yeah.
make recommendations. If there's things that need to be changed to benefit the client and prevent falls, we'll do that. The main thing really is having the caregiver there to assist the client
Right.
while they're up and moving around, so that we prevent those falls. Just little things like having someone there to make sure the brakes are applied on their wheelchair before
Right.
they transfer, things like that. Making sure they're using their walker, all sorts of things. It's just little things.
Right. probably 100 little details, you know.
It make a big difference.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, all right. Well, I thank you for getting on. I hope that well, do you have any things you want to leave us with, say about yourself or Dawn or anything like that?
Sure, just a quick overview. We provide great care. All of
Mhm.
our caregivers are highly experienced. A lot of them have been doing this for 10, 20 years. They do it for their whole life. We really focus on finding people that have a passion for what they're doing, and they're not just here to earn a paycheck, so to speak. And we really focus on person-centered care. We find the needs of the client, we match somebody with them that's going to be a good fit, and we shoot for that great relationship to where everyone can benefit and be happy and age in place at home where they want to be.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Justin, thank you so much. If anybody watching has questions, will be a link, contact information in the description and on the profiles and all that kind of stuff. So you can find Justin there. And that's it. Thanks
Thanks
again.
so
Have a
much.
great day. Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Yep. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.